Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. It can't be all rainbows and unicorns. Things I hate about owning my new airplane. Let's go!
Oh my God, Russ can fly!
So I know there's gonna be some people that are gonna be shocked to see this thumbnail and title of this video, and it is not clickbait. These are things that I hate about my new airplane. I got three major things that I absolutely hate about owning Charlie, and I'm gonna talk about them right here. And I know you might be saying, oh man, you ungrateful, and fill in the blank. And I definitely will understand, but I will say that there's going to be a corollary to this video. I'm going to talk about the top three things that I absolutely love about owning my new airplane. But there's got to be balance in life. And so this is the negative side, or the, some of the things that, in this short time that I've owned the airplane, that I've discovered that I just hate. Okay, number one, the first thing that I hate about owning Charlie is I don't get to fly her as much as I want to. I hate that. Now, I thought when I bought an airplane that I was gonna be able to fly as much as I want to. I was gonna be able to fly every day. I was gonna be going all across the country. I'd be flying to Toronto and all these types of things. And one of the things I've come to discover is the same crap I had to deal with when I was renting aircraft, be it from Northeast Philly or from Doylestown, never from here from Wings, because they never rented aircraft, just saying. But at any rate, the same stuff that I had to deal with when I was renting is the same thing that I'm dealing with now that I own Charlie. Things like weather comes up. I gotta tell you, there was a 2-week period where I didn't fly at all because, one, the weather was like really interfering with everything. I can only fly on the weekends because I work. And this work stuff is really getting in the way of my flying. I'm just saying. But yeah, those two things kind of go hand in hand, because one of the reasons why I really can't fly as much as I want to is I work. I am a working man. I still have to work to pay my bills. I have to work to pay for my, child's college tuition. So I work, and I work a lot. And, I am not complaining about working. Having a job is a huge blessing, especially in times where we've seen things, get really crazy in the world. So don't take it the wrong way. I love the fact that I have a place that I can go where I can take care of me and my family and all of that kind of stuff. And yes, that may sound antiquated and old school, but that's just how I'm built. What can I say? And so between my work schedule and the weather, I find myself sometimes 2 whole weeks will go, and yes, I've got the keys to the airplane, I've got the keys to the hangar, I know how to fly it, I know how to do all the kind of stuff, and I just can't. And many of you may be saying, well, one of the things that would cure that, Russ, is you need to get your instrument rating. I would completely agree with you. That's something that's, prayerfully is going to happen. And really what I'm trying to do there in terms of my instrument rating is I'm going to wait until Charlie is in and out of annual. Annual is going to become due in October, and I figured why start flight training now only to maybe have to stop because it's time for annual. So I figured once I get on the other side of annual, then I will start my instrument training in earnest, and I'm sure the flight instructor will feel good about the fact that the plane will just be annualed, everything will be up to date, all of that good stuff. So yes, the instrument rating would be great, but that wouldn't cure everything, right? There would still be times where even with an instrument rating, it might not be safe to fly. And I gotta tell you, with some of the convective activity we've had in the area of late, trying to get up in a small aircraft would be no bueno. I don't care instrument rating, I don't care what kind of instrumentation or avionics you have in the aircraft. There's just some times where it's just better to be on the ground. But I never contemplated that it would be you know, that impactful still. And so, yeah, that's the one thing that I really hate, because it makes the frustration of not flying that much greater, because I keep saying to myself, golly, it's Tuesday, it's beautiful. Why am I in this office? Why am I not flying my airplane? And then as soon as Friday comes, I'm ready to fly, or Saturday, or, you know, anytime on the weekend, which is when I typically fly, to wake up, hear the forecast. Yeah, sorry. Not only is New Jersey burning and there's smoke, because so that's gonna reduce visibility, there's also this major nor'easter coming up because there was this hurricane last week, and it just so happens it's gonna pass through now when you can fly. I hate that. I hate that. I really do. I mean, it drives me bananas. Man, I can't tell you. So yeah, you might be thinking, oh, that's so cute, but I really do hate it. And like I said, it was easier when I was renting and I would look at the forecast and say, okay, well, I couldn't have flown even if I wanted to, because, you know, the weather's bad or whatever. But there are days, and I'm at the office and I'm like, I'm at the office, you know, and I don't have access to the airplane anyway. And I would look at the schedule, and the schedule's booked at or whatever. But there's no schedule. There's no one in front of me. There's no one to stop me from getting in the airplane. So yeah, that's the first thing I hate. I just hate that I don't get to fly Charlie as much as I want to. I want to fly every day, every minute, every hour, every second. I tell you, I told you many videos ago that I am completely addicted to this thing. I don't know what the heck happened to me. I don't know what it is about this aviation thing, but man, it got a hold of me and it won't let me go. Number two, the second thing that I really hate about owning Charlie is I feel like I am just so far behind the learning curve in understanding who she really is. Now, I am making the best strides that I can, but the more I fly Charlie, the more I realize that there's some things that I just don't know and I need to learn. I'll give you a for instance. I was taxiing out the other day and I noticed that, you know, in taxiing, it seemed to be a little sluggish when I was turning. So before I took off, I parked the airplane because, again, anything that seems to be a little out of kilter, you want to make sure that, you know, hey, if something is not feeling right, you know, don't even do it. Don't go for a run up. Don't try to take off. Don't do anything. So I pulled off, and, you know, just to kind of look to see what was going on. One of the things I noticed is that the front landing gear, the main gear in the front, was a little low. So I figured, okay, no problem. I'm gonna go and, you know, get more air in the tire. Well, one of the things that I discovered is these things called wheel pants, and you don't see them here on any of these aircraft because either they're off or these are, well, this Beechcraft, this V-tail here, it has retractable gear. But, you know, you've seen them, they look really nice. Well, there are some that have an access door that allows you to kind of open it up and get to the tire stem to put air in the tire. Charlie does not have that. And so I'm doing this thing where I'm rolling the airplane forward. I stop. I look for the stem. I roll the airplane forward. I stop. I look for the stem. Only to find out that I'm never gonna see the stem because the wheel pant is hanging down too low. So I spent about 40 minutes figuring this out. And this is just about air in the tire. Tire was fine, everything was fine. This is just trying to put air. So by the time I figured all that out, it was about an hour and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I did look at the POH. I saw what it recommended in terms of tire pressure and got all that figured out, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And thanks to my brother Brandon, you know, who is, you know, amazing. And that's the gentleman who helped me do my first oil change. You know, he's been doing some stuff with his airplane that he purchased, and, you know, he has a compressor which, you know, never thought to buy, but of course he's smarter than me. So we have a compressor in the hangar and all that kind of stuff. So I have access to all of that, but I just didn't know how to get to the stem. Oh, you're such a dummy. And so it's a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, some of the things with the avionics, you know, I just feel like, you know, she is glad to be in my life. But she is definitely telling me, dude, you need to get your act together and learn some stuff about me, because, you know, you really don't know. So I'm diving back into the books and all of that kind of stuff, and it's just so much. And, you know, especially because I have these things called logbooks now for an airplane, you know, so digging through all of that and being new to all of this airplane ownership stuff, sometimes I feel I get overwhelmed, and, you know, you know, the information overload and all that kind of stuff. And what ends up happening is, you know, I'm behind the airplane in terms of my knowledge, in terms of understanding who she is. The other thing is, I've just begun to start doing basic maneuvers again. And one of the things that I learned just recently is, you know, you cut the power and you're in slow flight, you really need to be thinking about some up nose trim, because that engine, that baby gets a little nose heavy, and that nose wants to drop. And man, I mean, unless you want to do a full bicep workout, it's probably incumbent upon you to put some nose up trim in that airplane. And so, yeah, I'm just realizing that there's all these characteristics and all these things about her that I definitely need to learn. I mean, yes, I've heard about the Hershey bar wing and all of that kind of stuff, but I did not know that you cut that power and homegirl is coming down, period. Yeah, there's some glide ratio and all that kind of stuff, but that Hershey bar wing and that engine and the weight and all that kind of stuff, that bad, sister's coming down on the ground, period. So, you know, you got to be looking for some spots to land really quickly, you know, if there's an engine out and all that kind of stuff. So I just feel like, you know, she's being patient with me, but I definitely got to get on my square. I definitely got to get on my game with her and learning all these different characteristics and all that kind of stuff. And that's not just like the maintenance stuff and all that kind of stuff, but that's just some of the basic things, like, you know, how she flies, you know, what she does in crosswind, what she does in slow flight, what she does at, you know, 10 degrees of flap, 25 degrees of flaps, all of that kind of stuff. I just feel like I'm so far behind, and I just so much to learn, and sometimes I get overwhelmed, and sometimes I feel a little sad because, you know, she wants to do so much, and I think I'm holding her back, you know. So trying to get better, trying to learn more, you know, trying to increase, you know, my abilities and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the second thing I hate. Because I really believe that she has so much more to show me, but she can't show me until I'm ready to understand certain aspects and all of that kind of stuff. So that's the second thing I hate. And I know that may sound trite or whatever, or, you know, why do you hate it? Well, you know, I'm impatient. I'm so excited about, you know, wanting to do things and, you know, want to discover stuff. And so I feel like, you know, I'm holding her back. She's ready. You know, she has all the capabilities. You know, she can do things, and, you know, the person who's responsible for flying her is leaving her wanting. And I hate that. I don't want to leave the sister hanging. I want to be able to hang with her. So, yes, that's the second thing. I feel like I'm too far behind Charlie right now, and I hate that. Number 3, the final thing that I hate. Now, you know, I have a penchant for sometimes waxing ineloquent, just running my mouth and, you know, trying to be all philosophical, but it's an interesting thing that comes up with number 3. The thing I hate about owning my new airplane is I know that there's gonna come a time where I am not going to be able to fly her, and I am no longer gonna be her owner. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Russ, my gosh, why are you thinking about that now? You just got the airplane and you're still relatively young and all that kind of stuff. But it's just one of those things that, for whatever reason, it definitely popped into my mind. You know, I don't think you know, after 24 years, Mr. Terry ever thought about the fact during that 24 years where there'll become a day, you know, when he wouldn't own the airplane. But it came to pass. And, you know, I'm sure that there's times where, you know, he thinks about all of the memories. I mean, 24 years, can you imagine that? Can you imagine all the memories and wonderful things that he did in the airplane? And then because of that, you know, I'm sure there's times where he reminisces and thinks about that. And, you know, and I don't think I would be inaccurate to say that there are times where he misses Charlie. And so I think about that. You know, we never really own anything, if you ask me. Everything is like a long-term borrowing scheme. Now, I think about my house, right? Theoretically, I own it, and I'm still paying taxes and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, it's going to go to somebody else unless it gets destroyed and, you know, Lord, heaven forbid anything like that happen. I do hope at the end of my tenure there that my wife and I get to sell it and somebody else gets to come in and enjoy it and raise a family the way we did. But it just made me realize that no longer how long you're in a thing or you have a thing, it's off. At some point, it's going to go to another human being, or, you know, heaven forbid, in the landfill somewhere because it goes in the trash or whatever. Because our human existence, our existence here is so fleeting. It is but just a puff of air in the continuum of like the existence of God's beautiful planet. And so it's one of those things too, like since I was thinking about these things in terms of, you know, me owning my car, and where that's going to happen, or the cars that I've owned. You know, I'm sure at least one of them is just a cube. This 1974 Fiat 124 sedan that I had, that was a piece of junk when I bought it at, you know, for $400 back in the day. So I'm sure it is nothing but scrap metal now. And so, you know, you start thinking about, you know, reminiscing and thinking about your yesterdays and how many tomorrows and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, that I hate is that this, you know, that Charlie brings me such joy and such excitement. And there's this reality and this reality check that at some point she is not going to be mine. She is not going to be in Doylestown. She is not going to be in a hangar. And prayerfully, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that Mr. Terry did the same thing that he did for me. That when it's time for a new owner, that owner can come in there and jump in Charlie and start enjoying her and own her with the same pride that I know Mr. Terry owned her, and now the same pride I feel when people come up to me on the ramp. Oh my gosh, look at that Cherokee 235. Look at that paint scheme. Man, that plane is awesome. I feel this huge sense of pride, you know, owning her. Now, I don't want to, you know, idolize her or anything like that, because, you know, it is an airplane, it is a conveyance, and, you know, there are definitely more important things in life, and I don't ever put anything before my relationship with Heavenly Father. But, you know, as things go, as things that I've owned and He's allowed me to have, that I have really, really enjoyed, and it's given me this sense of completion and accomplishment, Charlie is definitely at the top of the list. You know, now, like I said, it comes behind some other things, but certainly it's one of those things that, you know, really does fulfill me. And so the idea of it not being there, you know, just the thought, just the idea that at some point I won't be able to have the keys in my hand. I won't be able to drive to Doylestown and get in the cockpit and do my pre-flight and take off and land in these different places. You know, I hate that. I really do. And no, I don't want to ever succumb to this pride of life thing where, you know, I don't like the fact that at some point my time here will be done. I really believe what the word says in terms of being absent from this body is to be present with Him. And I look forward to that. But, you know, like I said, while I'm here and I'm living this human experience and I'm having these human experiences, and this conveyance is giving me these incredible experiences and creating these phenomenal memories. And I get to talk to you all about it. And some of you are even interested in hearing what I have to say because of the fact that Charlie's in my life. The idea of not having that, oh, it breaks my heart. It really does. So I really don't like that. And that's the third reason. I hate the fact that one day Charlie's not going to be mine. And I pray that is no time soon. I'm praying that I have a good, multiple decade run before that happens. But that's something that did pop into my mind, and I thought that, I would talk about. So yes, I hate that. That's the third thing I hate. Don't go, Charlie, don't go. So those are the three things I hate about owning my new airplane. One, I don't get to fly as much as I would like to. Two, I feel like I'm like really behind in terms of my learning curve and what she's capable of. And three, like I said, from this philosophical standpoint, that one day she's not going to be mine, and I hate all of those things. So I know this video was probably a little different than what you thought. Yes, there's some other things that I really don't like. I don't like having to pay all the money that I pay. But you know what? In the scheme of things, that is what it is. What price tag can you put on creating memories or experiences? So that's it. Those are the three things that I hate, and yes, people are going to say, well, what about your annual? Or what about when things break? Or what? I'm sure those are going to be things, but, I can't hate something that, is just part of the process. I can't hate things that are part of life. You know what I mean? So at any rate, that's it. Like I said, there's going to be a corollary. I'm going to talk about the three things that I absolutely love about Charlie and being an airplane owner. And actually, I could probably talk about 50 things. But I'm going to really think about the top three things. And I will say this video just came, about it because of just sitting and thinking and, thinking about my life and all of that kind of stuff and the role that Charlie is playing in it and some of the things that, some of the emotions, that she has really, inspired in me since she's come into my life. So that's it. I thank you guys all for your support. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would be so honored if you would do so. And if you enjoyed this video, think about hitting that thumbs up button. That would be greatly appreciated as well. All right, take care. Love you all. God bless. Russ Kid, Russ Can Fly. I'm out. Peace.